Hi, my loves. Welcome back to my podcast. To those who are listening and those who are watching on YouTube, welcome. I am Simone, the Moon Goddess. So it's been a while. I really needed to just pull back, rebuild my solid foundations before tackling the podcast and all the other projects that I want to work on and to expand my community and to grow. Recently, I saw a tweet and it spoke about burnout and how it takes 3 to 5 years to get over burnout. And that resonated so much. I feel like when I first started my YouTube and I started really expanding the work that I do and growing this community, I was going gung-ho. Like, I had all of this energy. I was coming off the back of a really solid yoga practice, very disciplined, very consistent. And as the time went on, I let go of my practice. I lost track of my spiritual practices and disciplines. And I feel as if those were so much a part of giving me the energy to be able to channel, to be able to use my gifts the way that I do. 2 years ago, the world really changed, and I feel as if I was absorbing so much of the energy that the world was experiencing. And I would try to serve, but I was serving on an empty gas tank, really. Recently, I've been reading a lot about how it's so important to strengthen your sixth house. Now, this is a bit of astrology. And your sixth house is your routines, your daily routines, your discipline, your consistency. You can think about it in terms of Virgo, because Virgo would be the natural ruler of the sixth house. So I've been really working on strengthening my sixth house, rebuilding my spiritual practices and disciplines. You know, especially with my YouTube channel, there was a lot of start, stop. And this is largely based on the fact that I would take a rest, feel like myself again, or mostly like myself again, and then I would go off, try to serve or try to do the most, really, and I would end up back at square one. I was just putting out energy, but I was not allowing my energy to turn and to bubble up and to flow through my body. Because again, I had no spiritual practice aside from meditation, but I wasn't moving my body. The other thing is too, that in discovering that I'm a projector, this is now human design. For those of you who are familiar with human design, I'm a projector, and projectors do not create their own energy, so to speak. Now, I'm speaking in very basic terms, but we are not like generators and manifesting generators, those people who can go and go and go. Projectors need a lot of rest. Projectors aren't supposed to work in the way how society believes that productivity works. We're not the 9 to 5 people. We need to work in bursts, like short bursts, you know? And that might look different for different projectors, but we need to put more energy into the things that we love, into the things that will help to build us spiritually and creatively. So I would spend hours, recording, editing, and I want to do the podcasts, and I need to do a post on Instagram, and all of these things I was trying to juggle, and I was draining myself throughout the entire process. So I started my YouTube again in March with all intentions of, okay, this is the year that I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to go after all of my goals and, success and all of this. And life happened and I needed to take a break again. And I felt defeated and I felt frustrated myself. But also I realized that when I do need to take a break, when my guides tell me it's time to take a break, that part of me exhausting myself in taking a break was feeling guilty about taking a break. So where I was supposed to be resting and enjoying that rest and doing the things that I love and immersing myself in the energy of rest, I was fighting it mentally by feeling as if I was letting down myself, or I was being unproductive, or missing out on something, or other people growing, and I need to get up and work, otherwise I won't grow. And all of these things I was wrangling with and exhausting myself in the process. So I went back to my mat. I let my ego rest. I'm not one to say that you can't have a big ego or it's bad to have a big ego. We need to have a big ego because your ego is your sun. Imagine if the sun was tiny. Imagine if the sun was humble. What life would grow without the sun? The sun is massive. Our ego needs to be massive, but healthy and balanced. Our ego stops us from following the crowd. Our ego sets us on our own path. So I dropped the part of me that was trying to control and trying to wrangle and feeling as if I let go, it meant that I wouldn't achieve and I wouldn't succeed. I mean, was I achieving and succeeding when I was trying to control? No, I was just exhausting myself. So as I was saying, I got back on the mat and I thought about, when I was reading lots of astrology posts on how it's so important to have a solid 6th house, especially if you have a lot going on in your 12th house. And I have a stellium in the 12th house. For those who understand astrology, I have 4 planets in the 12th house. 12th house can feel a little bit heavy. It's considered the house of isolation and loss and expenses, and it's your subconscious, it's the spiritual realm, it's your ancestors. The 12th house is a beautiful house. And though some people might look at you like, wow, doom and gloom, you have all of that happening in your 12th house, it's actually a powerhouse. Once you figure it out, what works for you, how to balance it, and many times in order to balance it, it means that you need to work with your 6th house, the house opposite. So I got back on the mat and I started to build a solid foundation again. I did my vinyasa yoga. I worked on my kundalini yoga. And in my mind, I said, if my sixth house is solid, then I can then start building on top of that. If I can have a routine with my spiritual work, then it means that my physical work has a solid foundation to stand upon. And that's what I've been doing. Without guilt, without force, without trying to get up and go when my body, my mind, my spirit was saying to take a break and to rest. So I feel a lot more grounded. And now I feel like when I start again, there will be a sense of consistency. And I'm not going to drain myself by trying to do everything. I'm a projector and I embrace that energy. It means that I can work smart and not hard, and that can work for me. So it's been 2 years and a bit since I've posted a new podcast episode. I miss this. People have been so supportive of this platform. And I hear all the time how my voice is so soothing and how my voice has been able to heal migraines and how I should do voiceover work and all of this. And it just really drove the point that my podcast is a really important part of who I am and my service to the collective and all that I do. So it had to come back. I never gave up on it. But I'm so grateful to record this first episode. Now, as I talk about training myself and working smart and not hard, it means not offering a podcast episode every day. It means finding a structure that works for me. And I'm still working on that. But maybe the podcast will be a little more about me talking about things like burnout and astrology and different insights and downloads that have come to me, thrown in with a bit of channeling messages for you guys. So now that I've laid the platform, the groundwork for what I really want to talk about today, which is taking up space. Being big in your space. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Taking up space and being big in your space. For me, it looks like living unapologetically. I remember a couple of weeks back, I was within a group dynamic and I remember saying to somebody, stop apologizing every time you say something, every time you feel as if you need to express yourself. You know, a lot of us, we do it without even really thinking about it. When it's our time to speak, when it's our time to express ourselves, we might preface it with an apology. Sorry, but this is how I feel, or let me just say one more thing. Why are we apologizing? Take up space. It also makes me think about when we need help and we approach a friend or a family member or somebody, someone we love. Again, we'll say sorry for asking, sorry for needing help. Why are we apologizing for needing help? We all need help at some point, and many times those who find it hard to ask for help are those who are so used to giving. And when it's our time to get help, we feel as if we need to apologize and make ourselves small for that. We will never be sustainable without community. And community means that just as much as we give, we ask for help unapologetically. There's nothing to feel bad about asking for help. And I know that many times we say sorry because, it's almost as if we are giving ourselves a buffer in case the person says no, or they might be offended by you asking. But anybody who truly loves you and supports you would never be offended by you asking for help. Start apologizing for having boundaries. Start apologizing for living, for being, for existing. Be big in your space. You are an expression of the Most High. You're an expression of the Creator. Do you know how powerful that makes you? You know how big that makes you? Yeah, so those are my thoughts on taking up space and being big unapologetically. When you really stop and you think about the fact that you are an expression of the universe, that you are a physical manifestation of what was happening within the universe at exactly the point in time when you incarnated in flesh, in your physical body. You think about that. How could you apologize? Do flowers apologize for being beautiful? Do bees apologize for buzzing? And I know that this might sound very small, but truly, we need to be big. We need to be full. We need to have big egos. We need to be our everything. How are we not our everything, but we want to be everything to somebody else? It has to start with us. So I feel as if I'm going to end it here. I hope that these words support whoever's listening, who's ever watching, uplifts you, and encourages you to take up space and be big. You deserve it. We deserve it. You're here with a purpose. You're here with a mission. Shine on. Until the next episode, my loves, be well. Bye.